G'day trader, Sam here from TradetoProspa to give you another crypto update. And just looking at this chart, yesterday I had a look at this and realized there's this trend line here. And what I did was, okay, I explored that idea to see if it's valid. And so when I did this, so number one, I keep honest. I don't do stuff further down the track. By doing this accurately, I extend it and then see what it gives me. And surprising enough, so we extend it and we look on the weekly chart, and you can see in some ways, if you look across the board, it is a resistance line as well. So we've got support there, not so there with the black swan event, but we've got resistance and so on, even the wick there. So it's an interesting theory, but I'm not going to put too much weight on it. I just thought I'd better share that and let you guys decide what that means long term. Moving on to the close, what's happening now at the moment. So let's have a quick look. So when we look at the big picture with the macro, from swing high to the swing low, I always wonder, should I use that or should I use that as the bottom for this top macro? And usually, should I use that or should I use that type of question. So it is a bit hard because at times when it overperforms, you don't consider those wicks. You look at the more average level of support or resistance. So it becomes a hard level or hard way to work it out. But anyway, when I did it that way, you can see that the 0.5 Fibonacci was our support level. Okay, and then when you look at it from another perspective, 618 is pretty much acting as support. That we had that resistance there, so that sort of confirms to me that this could be it as well. And but the other thing that stands out from this chart, if you look at it, is this black line all along the way. Look how it became support on the weekly. Interesting, and it kept on being support and resistance and support. So that to me is a significant level or moving average. And I did talk about it on the SP 500, but it is a monthly 21 average SMA. And I have a template, I just applied it, and it stands out, doesn't it, all the way through. So the 21 monthly moving average has a lot of meaning, I think. Resistance there, and once it breaks above it, it becomes support. Bull run kicks in, but until then, it's a resistance. Obviously, there's a bit of a resistance there without it, but the main resistance, it was there, and when we break above it, we got knocked back there. Here it's support clearly, and right here we have this challenge. So that challenge there, I believe, is replicated here, or will be replicated. And if you look at it on the daily perspective, from the daily chart, let's just go back one. The good thing about TradingView is they've updated the scripts and you don't have to really touch it. The monthly is there, but it's just weird how the monthly does that. So they might have to fix that up a bit, but I don't know if it's done on purpose. But what we can see here is a fractal that I was looking at. This is the 200 moving average right there. That's a 200 moving average. And if you follow that, it became the support, the 200, and it was resistance all the way through. So that 200 moving average is important from a bullish or bearish perspective. And if you look at it, we still haven't passed it. So when we follow that green trail, it's still very contentious to beat that. So that's one way of looking at it, trying to break that level. And I believe that's where we gravitated towards that. And we'll talk about this scenario that's playing out as well. So we've got a number of scenarios that we're playing out. And now what I want to do is put the Fibonacci's onto this chart. Now I'll put this Fibonacci onto it, measuring from the bottom to this top here, where the 200 moving average is also playing a bit. Actually, what I can do is I can put label of moving averages, and here it is for you if you're wondering what my moving averages are. Hold on for a sec. We've got them all lined up. Yep, so the weekly 200 moving average is there. The daily is obviously broken. So we've got this big one, which is coming down to the 0.5. So when we have this Fibonacci level, you can see the 0.302 is also acting as a resistance along with this trend line. Interesting enough. Can we validate that this trend line is significant? I don't know. It's got enough touches to say it is, and a response, but is there a response for the trend line, or is there a response based on the Fibonacci? So that is a hard one to know. All right, let's look up close now. So just that image is worth considering as key levels. So when we're getting closer, and where is it? I'll remove that. Apparently, this formation is a double wall falcon. Never heard of it, but Peter Brandt is talking about it, and he thinks it's about 25k or so to hit, which 25 and a half, one guy's saying, and Peter's saying 25 range as well, which sort of makes sense because that's where our 200 moving average is the 2500. And then we've got this other one here. What's this one here? Let's see. I forgot what that was. Oh, I don't have this one. So what's this one here? The RMA. Okay, that's my RMA. Now, when we look at this, I think we can go through there. If we look from an Elliott wave perspective, it does make sense. So that's 1, 2, maybe 3, 4. Yeah. So how do we find? So this is obviously 2 to 3 because look how strong it is. There is no stopping. So this is a bit of a congestion. So it might go sideways. We'll talk about that, but that could be 3 and 4 and then 5. And this trend line might not have anything to do with it. Okay. So let's move across. Let's look in closely on the 4 hour. Right. So you can see what I've done. This range, we'll get to it. Let's just move that up there for a sec. And I'll just get rid of that for a sec as well. So what Peter is also doing. So I got the big macro trend line, and if I was to just tweak this a little bit, it will probably make sense like that. Okay. So what Peter's thinking on the 4 hour is that we do have this trend line, give or take a bit. Can we use that? Maybe even the 15 minutes probably better. Let's have the 15-minute look. And that line disappeared, didn't it? Okay. Let's do that again. It does look very flush on, doesn't it? So that line's there. Let's just get rid of this for a sec. So that trend line is acting as resistance, and it doesn't mean it'll continue to act resistance until it's broken. So this is not a small time frame. Peter's also done this as well. He thinks that this could be a line as well. So I was thinking of the lines of a failed swing trade here. And where is my chart? Give me a sec. Moving on, I just put this channel from the way that center created. So I just pretty much duplicated this channel. So we're on the bottom of this channel. So we're still we're still a long way to go to say we're bearish at this point. You will see that I just created that central piece. Should not touch that, and just moved it all the way down, and that seems to make sense as a channel. Now, what I'm thinking on a small time frame is that was a mini correction. So we did our 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, and a 5 here. Yeah. So we can look at that as well. I should just put that away. Maybe we're going to come down all the way down here. Time will tell on the big picture. So if that's the correction, so we have this channel, what we need to do is see price pretty much refuse to go down, number one. And if we use this model, which is, so we bounce there, that's our A, that's our B, C could be lower. And this is where there's liquidity, well, demand. So if it comes down here again, then we can see this take off. If we see that, and probably on the 4-hour, bit of a bullish divergence, we can enter this trade once it breaks this level here. Okay, we've got this 10 moving average on the daily. So at the moment, it's acting as resistance. And if I was to add Fibonacci and all the rest, will probably makes a bit of sense. Let's just put our Fibonacci here, and you can see that fib level. Actually, it's not there, is it? It's really there. So it's not really playing, the Fibonacci is not really playing the resistance at the moment, but that is there, that moving average at the moment. And you can see how it's broken above that previous fib. So it's looking potentially like a reversal. Worst case is if it breaks that level there, guys, we might just find some support there as well. So we're still in the game, but we don't want to see it break this level, to tell the truth. We don't want to see it break through. So if this goes sideways a bit, it still hasn't broken that level, and then we can see gains. Now, where's it likely to go if it's bullish in that perspective? This correction is good because what it does is relieves pressure. We need some swings and ranging. So, in essence, so far, this could be a reversal, or it could be. So, if this was to go higher, we'll find some difficulty here, definitely, and because it's when if you look at the Wyckoff structure, it's doing it at the moment, but you don't know which one it is doing. So we have an automatic response. Sorry, buying climax, automatic response. So this is the second test. This could be our swing level. Oh, sorry, spring, and a swing trade as well. So this is looking like a Wyckoff. And so that was an up thrust, second attempt. So if this goes past this, especially the center of it, if it goes, then it's likely to continue on. And that will be a continuation pattern, very much like that. That's a bull flag. This could be a bull flag as well, or a reversal. So at any time, if it breaks down this level, then it's going to go further there. And then becomes a head and shoulders sort of thing. So if we break that neckline, and probably this channel bottom one, it is going to be bearish and will probably play up the head and shoulders. However, we're looking at the upside. Now, what's going to cause that to either go bearish or bullish? Let's look at the ESP or SP 500. At the moment, SP 500 is dropping. It doesn't look good, but Bitcoin is not really corresponding. It's pulled back ahead of it. Maybe that's priced into Bitcoin. Anyway, we'll see that. But Bitcoin is, I think, because of that, is probably dropping a bit as well. So that's going to be the decider, I suppose. It's dropped a little bit. And let's look at the Dixie. We talked about, okay, there we go. So we talked about this on our channel, that this is a descending wedge for the 4-hour US dollar. It's breaking up. So we have number targets. So that's I do. So we've got a resistance here. So that's one level of resistance. But I do believe that we're going to hit this target, and then we'll find out if it's a reversal. Could be a reversal, guys, because it's doing the Wyckoff structure as well. It could come back down again, and then up it goes. Or it hits this target based on this structure. So that is our wedge target, previous resistance, that Fibonacci is working, and then we'll come back down again. So for the short term, there is downward pressure. That downward pressure might just be enough for this to come down here and then play that roll out. So that's what I have at the moment. For if that happens, SP 500 might just come down a bit more. At the moment, it's breaking that level, which is important, the 618. So this might come back down and then do that. Time to get to see this, if it's a rising wedge or not. If it's a rising wedge, then we're going to keep coming down. That is a bearish scenario. It looks like that's a support level, so we should be able to get support. And then this is my danger area. This is where I think this is going to be a bit of a fake out and then down. Would that give Bitcoin enough time to hit our target, 200 moving average on the weekly? It seems to be the case. So we pull back in, we come back down. We might just hit that and then go back up again on the daily. I think I've done, and the total market cap is still struggling with the 200 moving average and that fib level. So I think in long term wise, we're going to be in this range for a while. We might even hit there and then come back down, and then range. That might be our bottom. If we drop that level, definitely we are looking for much further down there. So, and that will probably feed into a formation of something like that, and that makes sense where we see the bottoming. If the SP 500 is to do what it's supposed to do with the results, but this week we'll find out how the companies made their profits or not, and that should affect it. And then we've got the Fed as well. Geez, there's a lot going on this week, and so it's going to be a volatile week. Be ready for it. Please give me a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.